For the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic news, opinions and information with additional information on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll pause and repeat what I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please try again, and if you miss your turn to call in, I will call from these strays at the end of the UK and international sections. So, I will now begin taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net as usual in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 9 in their call wishing to check in, please call now. G4NRC, over.
RNRC, this is Mike 9 Tango Golf Echo. Repeat, Mike 9 Tango Golf Echo.
Mike 9 Tango Golf Echo. Good afternoon, Toby. Any other 9s, please? G4NRC, over. Okay, nothing heard. Let's have 8. Stations figure 8 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G8 EEY. Name is Mike.
Echo Echo Yankee. Good afternoon, Mike. Any other 8s, please? G4NRC, over. Nothing heard. Let's have 7. Stations figure 7 in their call sign. Please go ahead. G4NRC, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Name is Stephen. Dame Valley Group.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel G798. Good afternoon, Greg.
For an RC, so I've got Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta Stephen and Golf 7 November Echo Hotel Graham. Any other 7s, please? G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard. So let's have 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over. You can call any stations figure 6 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over. For an RC, nothing heard. Let's have 5. So stations figure 5 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over. RC, we don't have many 5s in the organisation, so let's go straight to 4s. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4NRC, G4K, UJ, Kilo Uniform Juliet, Trevor in Watford. Good afternoon.
Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4KL, Williams, South Sussex.
G4XUR, G4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo, down in Somerset. Good afternoon, Greg. In and out today, please.
For an RC, so far I've got Trevor, G4KUJ, and Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima staying with me. And good afternoon, David. Golf 4 X-ray Uniform Romeo, who's in and out. Any other 4s, please? G4 and RC, over. And RC, nothing heard. Let's have 3s. Stations figure 3 and their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-ray, Ian. In and out again this week. Thank you. Great.
3 Zulu Hotel X-ray, good afternoon, Ian. Copy to you in and out. 7 3s. Any other 3s with me, please? G4 and RC, over. RC, nothing heard, so let's have 2s. Stations figure 2 in their call sign. That includes a diminishing pool of intermediate 2s. Please call now, over. Call for any stations figure 2 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over. RC, nothing heard, so let's have stations figure 1 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over. G4 NRC, I've got one figure 1 station who called on his county calling channel rather than the national one. So I'll leave you on the list and we'll call you in turn just in case that wasn't intentional. So Golf 1 Foxtrot Mike Uniform recognised, but we'll get you properly next time around, Keith. Any other ones, please? G4 NRC, over. 4NRC, nothing heard, so let's have Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
That's Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee. In and out, please, Greg.
Zero Golf Uniform Yankee, good afternoon, Guy. Copy to you in and out. 7 3s to you. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, over? So let's have Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over. Call for any Golf 0 station of any regional secondary identifier, over. He must be busy, so let's have any UK station that's missed their turn to call in, please call now. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot.
E4 HUF, good afternoon, Phil. Obviously you got caught up in the traffic jam of 4s earlier then. Okay, do we have any of our international colleagues on the talk groups today? That's usually Noord-Samband of Norway, Arin in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia, or Daz in the Netherlands. Any of our international friends, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, then any station UK or international wanting to join the RAYNET-UK activity nets, please call now. G4 and RC, over. Still nothing heard. Again, sorry, G1FMU, just saw you blip up on screen briefly. G1FMU, G4NRC, over.
G1FMU, hopefully I'm on the right channel now, not quite sure what's going on there. Yeah, it's Keith down in Cornwall, and just be in and out this week, because we've got various projects going on here, but good to hear you all, and I'll be with you next week.
G1FMU, there we go. Okay, that's helped, Keith, thank you. And we got you in the log properly this time. Okay, so G4NRC, good afternoon everybody. Reminder, Graham G7NEH, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH. Again, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube, and clicking on the link for the past streams. It's basketball season, so a time-constrained net from me this week, so we have to finish at 16:45 latest. And also note, if the National AGM next weekend runs on, then it will coincide with the net, so that might mean a slightly strange net arrangement, depending on whether or not we finish on time and I can get back to a hotel room, or whether I'm trying to run a net from a noisy facility while people are wrapping up the AGM. So just watch what happens next week, or it might get a bit ad hoc. To keep things quick, only one news story caught the eye this week, and that was that the island of Tiree in Scotland has been asked to avoid making video calls or use online streaming in case it brings down broadband services following damage to the subsea fibre cable connecting the island to the mainland, damage caused by Storm Amy earlier this month. The fibre carried broadband, mobile data and phone services, and while a temporary arrangement's been set up with a Starlink terminal onto the local community-run broadband system, who actually pays the estimated £10,000 bill to supply the 700 residents per month with internet remains an unanswered question. What matters to us, though, is the quote used in the BBC article, which is, quote, "It is clear that fibre is not infallible and there is no real backup. This has raised serious questions as we are reliant on the internet to do so much now," end quote. So, what thoughts does that trigger from everyone this week? And in a change to our normal running order, it doesn't get to be Mike, but because of the change of call signs that's happened this week, it's Toby first. Mike 9, Tango Golf Echo, G4, and I'll see you over. Tango Golf Echo G4 and RC 0.2 of a second, blaze of glory. Toby, try again, over.
Yeah, the Mike 9 call, I think on Monday, Sunday midnight Monday, sort of like changed over, and yeah, that was about it, I think. So now I just need to make tons more HF contacts and fill up the QRZ page on that particular log. As far as that, your sort of the news report article with Tyree, yeah, it's not great, is it? I mean, they don't have backups in place. I mean, it's like all this SIP calling with the telephone networks with BT and Virgin. It's all well and good going via the internet router. What happens when that router fails or falls down? You know, it's just like you lose your landline. You've got no backup in place. It's not great. Okay, I'm going to hand it back to you. From Mike 9 Tango Golf Echo.
Tango Golf Echo, G4 and RC. Okay, Toby, I think we lost a few seconds of your audio there. Got a blaze of glory in the first 0.2 of a second, and then picked it up with you getting a new call sign on Monday. The Ofcom new call sign system has been a little problematic. People who chose to try and investigate whether they could change their call signs to something better. That's not just the intermediate call groups, but others were having a look. One person found accidentally his call sign got changed even though he hit cancel, and is now trying to get his call sign back in place again. So yes, it came out with not a lot of fanfare. Everybody's got their systems working though to accommodate the new M8 and M9 call signs, and it is far faster to send than 2 E0s. Okay, thanks Toby. We'll pick up on the other comments about Tyree when we get a few more in. Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY. Oh, what a refreshing change to have time to think about the questions before I get called in. Okie dokie. Well, this afternoon was quite sunny and warm and clear blue skies until about an hour ago. Now we're at 14 centigrade, 1002 millibars, 71% relative humidity, 100% cloud cover, and 12.6 from 153 degrees, and the rain has just arrived, which I think probably everybody else has had it by now. Yeah, not too much to add this month, but interesting going on a lunch and learn session with RD earlier on in the week. Yeah, they're still planning around what they call block sessions on rolling power outages. They're still thinking of doing that, if necessary, in the future. Well, as we go over more and more to online essentials, banking, etc., I don't think they can justify having rolling power outages, because there will be no other way of dealing with life. From G8 EEY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC returning. Okay, well, it's been raining here in Cheshire all day, so no huge surprise there. I had to get to you eventually. Rotor disconnections, I'll still prefer to call it rather than block sessions on rolling power outages because it's quicker. Interestingly, following, I think, the Spanish outage a few weeks ago, or should I say months, National Grid have been put under the cosh and told they've got to come up with a way of getting systems restored after 5 days of a national power outage, rather than what had been seen as the extension from 5 to 7 to worst case 10 even. But to make it work, and the way the grid works, you can't avoid rotor disconnections. It doesn't just all come back up again. So unless we can persuade everybody, and I mean everybody in the country, to somehow voluntarily reduce their power usage in 5% blocks, especially when a lot of them don't have smart meters, it gets very difficult. Okay, thanks for that. Stephen, Mike 7, Victor Sierra Delta, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Very good afternoon to all on the net. Currently using a different DMR radio to what I usually use. Currently using a Radio Oddity GD88 to have dug out of storage and blown the dust out and done a bit of programming on, but seems to be working anyway. And yeah, broken fibres. Brings back memory of chasing a broken fibre ring round a sewage treatment works for me. What a fun day that was. But, we eventually found the break and managed to transfer the cores over. So it was a fun job trying to find it. It was a big sewage treatment works as well. Radio-wise, been doing a lot with the cadets last weekend. We ran a successful bronze radio course. All cadets passed, and we even managed to get them on the national HF Sunday net, so they were able to send plain dress messages. That was quite good. And there was the exercise, forgot the name now. This is the exercise cloud warmer. That's still ongoing up until the end of the year, and it has been exercise Blue Ham. Didn't manage to participate myself. but we'll be participating in an exercise with the Canadian Army, exercise Noble Skywave, which happens this week. Over.
G4NRC, back to M7VSD. Sorry, trying to now type and log and think at the same time. So I wonder if that Canadian exercise is what the Americans used to do once upon a time, which was a bit of a competition between HF signals units around this time of year, or whether it's just a competing event now. Maybe we'll get more on that next time round. The one thing with fibres is at least you kind of know where the fault is, and the sad bit with Tyree is the fault is just not far enough offshore that a proper boat can get at it, but not so close onshore that you can just wade out and find it. So it's about the worst possible place to route the fibre up and fix it, which is why they could be off for a little while yet. Okay, thanks Stephen. Graham next, G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G798. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. Last week's viewing figures are 41 views and 3 likes. And currently we have. Find me mouse. There we go. Currently we have had 6 views today, and there are currently 2 watching. So there we go. Not much else to add from this end. Been taking part in a Jode station this weekend. Not much to report really. We didn't have any scouts visitors, which is a shame. So there we go. Take us out the next round, Greg, and I'll no doubt catch you in the week. G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4NRC. Yeah, I was going to ask you how Jota went, because I was wondering, there was Aurora last night, so I was wondering how propagation might have been given a kicking for that. I think that 41 views, though, is a slowly increasing figure we've had over the last few months, which is good and promising, as long as we keep the number of people actually active on the net above the 10 or so check-ins. Otherwise it stops being a net and turns into a podcast, which I'm not sure we want. Okay, thanks Graham. We'll catch up with you hopefully tomorrow night. It's 2 metre SSB West Cheshire RAYNET Group nets tomorrow night, so just hold that thought. So I try and route a station out later when I get back from basketball. Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Replying, good afternoon, Greg and everybody else. Just a slight delay there because on the dashboard you were still showing as transmitting when you had actually finished your over. Anyway, mainly this week I've been just keeping an eye on JS8 on 40 metres, and certainly towards the latter part of the week some very good conditions into G on or into UK on 40, with some very strong JS8 stations. Apart from that, not much else done this week on the radio front. Just picking up something from Mike last week about the event that's going along the coast there, and the station at West Runton. I don't know whether you've ever used the Roman Camp car park up at the top of the hill there. Many years ago, when I used to go up there quite regularly, I did quite well on sideband mobile from that car park. It's got quite a good coverage, and I didn't have any problems from the high power TV station and the other stuff that's up there. Just a thought, Mike, if a way to get down into West Runton. So back to Greg, G4KUJ to G4MRC.
G4KUJ, G4LC returning. Thanks for subtly correcting my easts and wests as I was typing that into the log. Yeah, I was off work Friday and took advantage of being able to leave the radio on and running. So, yeah, JS8 call was doing its thing as usual. At least the radio Pi and everything pretty much interacted the way it should do, which is good. Hoping for, well, some might remember I was meant to be away this weekend, but that got cancelled. So, next possible opportunity for playing away from home radio might be next weekend as I scurry back and forth to the AGM. Well, we'll see what happens with that, and if I do operate, it's likely to be on 20 metres, just so we can keep antennas manageable within hotel and club car parks and stuff. Okay, thanks Trevor. Let's go to Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KL, yes, good afternoon everybody. Yeah, I should be up for the HSNet on Tuesday, I hope. It's in the diary and it's not clashing with anything else this week, as far as I can make out, so that's good. And hopefully the one the following week as well, with the non-voice one. I interested that reference to people using JS8 on 2 meters. I'm looking at that. I've not really considered that one, so that's something for me to think about. Yes, and the AGM. I'm planning to be there. It's exactly where I'll be the time the net is taking place will be an interesting one, because I'm due to be at the Bristol coach station by 6 o'clock for a coach setting off back in this direction. So I would think I'll probably not have quite left the venue, as it were, at the time this net's coming on, but I'll probably have to keep an eye on and make sure I don't delay too long. Very good. I think that's probably it for me for this round. G4NRC, G4KL.
KAL, G4NRC. Okay, thanks Philip. Yeah, I'll be travelling down to the AGM in the morning, so I'm not sure what time I'll be there. Have to be there for the main event, and I'm guessing I'm going to get buttonholed by quite a few people, given what's going on, so I'll see what I can do, but hopefully get a chance to catch up with you next Sunday, and yeah, we'll just see how it works for next Sunday's net, since quite a few people might actually be in the room. Okay, rounding off this round, G4HUF, back round to you Phil, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF, after an absence of a few weeks. So it's nice to get back in the habit and hear lots of familiar voices. Yes, interesting about Tyree. I sat down and read the BBC report this morning and thought, that's definitely a challenge. And I did wonder whether or not there was any activity, amateur activity on the island, which sounds as though it would be the only fallback if things went totally pear-shaped. But further than that, I thought, well, if Greg doesn't mention it, I'll provoke it and see what comes out. But you preempted me, so that's not a problem. News from this end. I've finally got my new toy that I ordered at Newark last week. So when it comes to checking out kit for RAYNET, I have got a decent setup of test equipment, having now got myself an RF signal generator. I'm afraid for the last 20 years, since I finished working in the radio sector, I felt a little bit naked without test equipment, but now I can relax again, I suppose, from that point of view. And of course the next decision to make is whether I organise suitable transit cases to move them around if required. So that's the situation with me. Nothing else exciting to report, unless you've got anything else for me, or anybody else has got anything else for me. I'll sign on this one and try and give you a good chance of getting away for your basketball match, Greg. This is G4HUF.
UF G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, transit cases, which is why I've tended to go cheap and cheerful, following that if it falls in a puddle, it's not that valuable, don't get so knotted up about it kind of approach. I suppose I could try and have a look if I could figure out what the postcode was for Tyree, if there were any amateurs on the island. There is a copy of the call book somewhere around here. But I'm not sure it's that well populated in any circumstance, let alone with any amateurs on there. I think following normal statistics, we might find there's a chance of half an amateur on there if there's such a beast. But there was finally the recognition that fallback matters is a good thing. While you've been away, off net, myself and one of the members did go to the West Cheshire storage unit and catalogue a lot of our gear. We need to get back to it again and get you a register of all the stuff we pulled out of the Winsford Emergency Centre. Then I can share that with you and Stephen, and you can figure out what home it's going to go to. Okay, thanks for that, and thanks for your consideration, everybody. I'm trying to keep it quicker, even if we have got an extra call sign number to deal with, and I'm looking good on time. So let's go around for finals or any final thoughts. So it's back to Toby, Mike 9, Tango Golf Echo, G4NRC, over. Mike 9, Tango Golf Echo, G4NRC, over. Heard from Toby, so we'll try and call him again at the back end of the list. Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8EY. Yeah, thanks to Trevor for the suggestions. Yes, I know the Roman camp. Up by, oh, yes, where we were. I'm looking at the possibility of using MB5CR, which is a 77s repeater. So I've been doing some path plots from there. My main problem with having a midpoint, or a remote station, I won't call it anything else, at the Roman camp is somebody being with a vehicle on their own for 24 hours during February. I'm not sure as I'd want to lumber somebody with that, so I've got to keep that in consideration. Yes, the marshing points are known. The route direction is not known, so I don't know whether we could split that to needing a midpoint or not, because the control is going to be in the Northern Territory. Yeah, I seem to remember not so many decades ago that somebody thought it was a brilliant idea to run broadcast fibres and such things along the earth wires of power pylons, and tended to find they got hit by materials reappropriation operatives, for want of a better word, who would steal the earthing wire and the fibres. Thanks for running the net, Greg. Hope to see you or hear from you if you manage it after the AGM from G8EEY.
8 Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC. Yeah, when you keep talking about fibre routes and overhead lines, mine are actually on top of 132 kV lines, so the metal reallocation team has got a bit more of a challenge to go find them up there. I hope, so far, anyway. Okay, thanks for that. I'm sure you and Trevor can catch up on any further suggestions for what the possibilities are of that route, but we'll move on down to Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Yeah, Noble Skywave, it is a competitive exercise, mainly between signal regiments, but they're letting the Air Cadets play this time, so we've got 5 teams that we're putting in for it, including myself. So it should be interesting. Certainly a wide spread of frequencies, but we've had to get an authority to radiate because every single one of them is out of band for the UK. Because they're all Canadian frequencies, so we've had to get authority to radiate on those, which has just come through. So we've got temporary authorization to do so for the few days of the exercise. And I shall await the catalogue list of the gear from Winsford, and I'm sure we'll be able to find it a home. But with that, I'll pass it back to you, and we'll maybe hear from you next week.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 NRC. Okay, right, thanks for confirming it's the competitive exercise. So it's the one well, possibly the one I thought of then. So, interesting, given the way footnote 1, I think it is, in the UK radio allocation table just says UK military go everywhere. It is interesting about needing a temporary authority to go on some of those frequencies, but hey-ho, who's to argue with the yeoman of signals or whoever else is controlling stuff today. Okay, thanks Stephen. We'll let you two know when we get this list compiled. The photos were sent to Phil, I think, some while ago, but it's time to go through the boxes and catalogue everything. Then you know exactly what you've got, rather than having a sort of bumper fun pack tombola kind of prize of here's a box, who knows what's inside. Okay, Trevor, around to you. G4KUJ, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, G4KUJ. Okay, Mike, your comments noted, and yes, the 24 hours in February up there is probably not the nicest place to be, is it? Anyway, nothing further from me. All being well. Catch up with some of you during the week on HF or what have you. Cheers for now. Thanks for running the net, Greg. G4 NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4 NRC. Okay, thanks, Trevor. And Philip, you got to finish off the net this week. G4KIL, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, G4KIL. Yeah, I'll make it fairly quick. You can see a log to remind me at another time, is to give you an anecdote about testing for breaking fibres. My first job was at the Standard Telecommunication Laboratories in Harlow, which is where Charlie Kao invented fibre optic in 1960, which is a long time before I was there. But they were did a lot of work on it, and I didn't get involved in assessing breaking fibres, but it's a story for another day. I look forward to seeing you next week, even only to a distance. If you're very busy, I can imagine you will be. Such a confident and useful resource you are to us all. And hopefully maybe speak to you Tuesday evening as well on HF. G4KL and thanks M3, listening to the end of the net, and speak to you whenever. Back to you.
G4KIL, G4 NRC, so I'm feeling jinxed now, given the degree of potential incompetence I may demonstrate next week, but we'll see. We're trying to meet some member requests, and hopefully you will see more about that on Friday. in the news. But we shall let's get Sunday over and done with, and then AGM's done, and we can focus on all the other things that actually make this hobby entertaining. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for your patience and your assistance in getting the net finished early when we're on an early finished week. So take care, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I shall close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531 on Pheonix and Brandmeister, and 502351 on the RAYNET-UK network, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730 all, this is G4NRC now closing and reverting very briefly to my normal call sign of G0DUB before legging it out of the door. Bye bye.